Deadly attacks in Paris.
But is the mastermind behind the attacks dead? I'm Mitch Ross.
And I'm April Belizio, and this is Channel 14 News. After the deadliest attack on French soil since World War II, the French government is fighting back with airstrikes, arrests, and the declaration of war. The French president vows to eradicate terrorism, but tonight, new questions as multiple U.S. officials say none of the people identified so far in the Paris attacks have been on any U.S. watch list. Erin McLaughlin is in Paris with the latest.
Passionate and precise, French President François Hollande promises to extinguish terrorism in France and abroad.
La France est en guerre.
France is at war.
He proposes extending France's state of emergency for 3 months and to make it easier to detain and deport suspected terrorists. He vows the soul of his nation will survive this bloodshed.
I want France to remain itself. Barbarians attacking it want to disfigure it. They will not succeed.
To defeat ISIS, President Hollande wants the United States and Russia to work together, saying that he would meet soon with President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Friday attacks that killed 129 people in Paris have sparked a series of raids, arrests and detentions in France and Belgium. In the U.S., the CIA and FBI are on heightened alert as ISIS has released a video threatening more attacks.
They are simply a network of killers who are brutalizing local populations.
One of those brutal killers is now the subject of an intense international manhunt. 26-year-old Salah Abdeslam is believed to be connected to the Paris attacks. A reminder that danger persists even in the midst of mourning.
Is the suspect mastermind behind the Paris attacks alive or dead? That's the question investigators have after an early morning terror raid that left 2 suspected terrorists dead. Erin McLaughlin explains.
We are at war.
French President François Hollande says his country is forced into battle with ISIS. Wednesday, the country went on the offensive. Belgian and French police and security agencies picked up on a telephone wiretap, leading them to an apartment in Saint-Denis, a northern Paris suburb not far from where the deadly stadium attack happened Friday. The wiretap suggested a relative of Abdelhamid Abaoud, the suspected Belgian ISIS ringleader of Friday's attacks, could be in the apartment.
So the thought was, well, perhaps he could be there as well, because the French had also developed separately strong information suggesting that he was in Paris.
Heavily armed officers went in by the truckload for an hours-long operation. Inside, a woman in another apartment hid with her baby.
They said to stay laid down on the floor, don't move, and turn off all lights, and that's what I did, and I hid.
She says gunfire and explosions shook the building until officials announced the raid was over. Officials say they will use DNA analysis to determine who was killed. President Hollande says he will ask to extend France's state of emergency for 3 more months, giving authorities more powers in conducting searches and detentions. In Paris, I'm Erin McLaughlin reporting.
Coming up next, ISIS threatens New York City and over 500 illegal firearms are seized in California.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I'm Ryan Schwertfeger here in the Channel 14 Weather Center. Currently it's 58 degrees with partly cloudy skies. After we had a brief shower this morning, we're going to have that all-important 5-day forecast as we go up to Thanksgiving after the break and a little bit while in the show, so don't go away.
The average text, takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
ISIS has released a video warning of an impending attack on New York City. Still images from that video show what appears to be an explosive device wrapped in tape. The video also shows a man zipping up his jacket with a bomb strapped to his body underneath. That is followed by an image of Times Square in New York City. There is no indication of when the images were taken or if the images are authentic. New York City police officials say they are aware of the video and that some of it is not new. They go on to say that while there is no current or specific threat to the city at this time, that they plan to stay at a heightened state of alert and work with the FBI and Terrorism Task Force to keep the city safe. A New York baby rescued from a fire. Here's more on the story.
As firefighters returned to 3440 106th Street in Corona, one of their colleagues today described the dramatic rescue that saved a baby boy last night.
I don't know if it's hero is the right word, just, that's just what we do. It's just, it's what we're trained to do, and glad that it worked out.
Actually, hero is exactly the right word. 9:30 last night, the 42-year-old Vilagos and his firefighter brothers from Engine 316 rushed to the Brown family home on 106th Street in Corona. They encountered a house on fire and panicked parents yelling about a 3-week-old newborn trapped in the attic. Vilagos immediately entered the home and searched for the narrow staircase leading to the top floor.
I wound up actually bumping into the crib, and I heard very faint noises. Baby was making very faint noises, and I reached in, I felt the baby, and I just grabbed him and took off.
When he came out with the baby, it was like I was so happy because I couldn't get to him, but I didn't have the equipment to get to him. It was too much smoke. I was inhaling smoke, and I was on fire.
That baby, Sanjay Headley Jr., is Anita Brown's nephew. Tonight, the infant is under the watchful care of doctors here at Weill Cornell Medical Center.
Sanjay is fine. He's doing okay. Right now, they just want to get him to eat. The mom, she's doing all right. She's right. My sister's right beside her baby, and they're doing fine.
California authorities have seized more than 500 weapons from a home of a man who is not supposed to own weapons. The state attorney general said law enforcement raided 2 homes of 59-year-old Albert Shaquille. Inside homes, they found 209 handguns, 88 shotguns, and 234 rifles and 10 assault weapons, along with thousands of rounds of ammunition. Officials say Shaquille was on the mental health block list and the guns were illegal. Shaquille was a federal firearm dealer before his license revoked in 2014. He has been taken into police custody for illegally possessing the firearms. A 12-year-old girl killed her stepmom but has a strange reason why. Here's more on the story.
This little girl has been failed by everyone.
Holly Curtis says her 12-year-old client's story needs to be told.
We've had our hands tied because at this point in time, there is no other facility that can or will take her. We're running out of options. This is our last option.
Prosecutors say the girl set her family's Prairie Street apartment on fire, then stabbed her stepmother in July. The stepmother, Maria Torres, died. A court order filed this week says the 12-year-old did it at the direction of a fictional character found on the creepypasta website known as Laughing Jack. And the 12-year-old heard voices and had an alter ego months before the stabbing and begged her father for help. Court documents say the girl is a risk to herself and others as long as she's here at the Juvenile Detention Center in Goshen. She isn't allowed to have any sharp objects near her or within her reach, and because of her, they've had to add staff, and other kids here are only allowed to have paper spoons. In the 117 days she's been there, court documents say she continues to beg detention staff for help.
The risk level for her is beyond anything I think anybody can imagine. And for her not to be able to get the help she's crying out for is probably one of the biggest travesties I've seen so far with the system and with obviously a state agency that is not willing to step up and do what I would say is their job.
And this is where the 12-year-old's public defender says her client will stay until the court can find a mental health facility willing to take her and get her the help she needs.
Coming up next, gun permit applications up in Pittsburgh, and a hunt for a man approaching young girls in Morgantown. Stay tuned.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
It seems that within minutes of the initial attacks in Paris, many of the United States became extremely concerned for their own safety. The Allegheny County Sheriff's Office typically handles around 50 gun permit applications per day. Monday, it had 107 applications, and there were 121 applications Tuesday. Butler County has seen more than 100 gun permit applications between Monday and Tuesday. It normally gets around 30 per day. Beaver County has seen more than double its daily average since last Friday, and they're up 50% in the Westmoreland County since Friday.
After battling flames, thick black smoke, and the smell of chemicals at the Leedsdale Industrial Park fire Tuesday, firefighters were back on the scene Wednesday morning, putting out hot spots, and they say it could be some time before the actual cause is pinpointed. Crews with heavy equipment were there to begin dismantling the now collapsed building Wednesday morning. The huge fire is now out, but the work is far from over.
Morgantown Police and State Police are investigating similar reports of a stranger making contact with young girls waiting on their school buses. Two 12-year-old girls from different areas report a mixed-race man approaching them and then fleeing in a red vehicle when they ran away. One of the girls described the man as 5'5" with dark skin who spoke with a foreign accent. She said he had a skinny build and tried to get her into a car.
At approximately 7:31 a.m., multiple agencies responded to the scene about a mile and a half off the I-79 exit on Chicken Inn Hill, where a tractor-trailer and a pickup truck somehow collided. The driver of the pickup had to be cut out of his vehicle and was transported to a hospital by ground. His condition is unknown at this time, but his injuries are reportedly non-life-threatening. The tractor-trailer driver was uninjured.
Coming up next, a new Oxford House opening in Waynesburg and a new craft night at the Bowlby Library. You're watching Channel 14 News.
Hey, Mom. Did you take your medicine? Oh, gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse.
You need a claim number?
Her personal assistant.
Let me just grab a...
Her housekeeper. Her cook. Her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
It has been just over a year since the county's first drug rehabilitation recovery house opened on Cumberland Street in Waynesburg Borough. The Oxford House, designed specifically for men rehabilitating from drug and alcohol addiction, has been such a success that a second home will be opened in January, this time for women.
The Bowlby Public Library has started a new monthly program specifically with adults in mind, titled Adult Craft Night. This new program will be offered twice a month on the first Thursday and second Saturday of each month. There will be a craft making class with minimal fee to offset the expense of materials.
East Washington police have identified the driver of the minivan that overturned Tuesday afternoon in the 500 block of East Bow Street. Sarah Bell was disoriented after the crash and was unable to tell police what happened. The van hit a utility pole and overturned. Bell and her 3 children, a 2-year-old boy, a 3-year-old girl, and an infant girl, were taken to Washington Hospital to be checked. Police said all 3 children were properly restrained in child safety seats.
A California man was arrested Thursday night by the borough police on charges of including attempted homicide after he allegedly shot a Pittsburgh woman in the face and arm with a .22 caliber rifle as she sat in a car outside his Highland Avenue home. David McLean Mounts was taken into custody after a 3-hour manhunt following the 5:30 p.m. shooting of 36-year-old Tequila Stevens. Stevens was taken to Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh for treatment. Aaron Davis, who was driving the car, was grazed by the gunfire.
Coming up next, Anthony Kahn has your campus update, courtesy of the Yellow Jacket.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know. Come alive with the forest. The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I'm Anthony Kahn with your Campus News Report. Eberly Library has gone viral. The Waynesburg University Library is now on social media sites, including Facebook and Twitter. These sites help update students on what rooms are available for club meetings or study groups, as well as providing reading suggestions from the library staff. You can find Eberly Library on Twitter using the handle @EberlyLibraryWU or on Facebook under Eberly Library. Thanks to First National Bank, the business department at Waynesburg University has just taken a step in the direction of advancement for an already professional institution. The stock ticker board, which has been on campus for about 3 weeks now, was just recently programmed and is in the running in the trading lab. The ticker, currently mounted on the wall in Hannah Hall, is 6 feet across and about 8 inches high. Running across the board is live minute-to-minute updates on multiple stocks on the stock market. 75 students volunteered to be a part of this year's mock crime scene. Only 56 were available to participate, however. Mock crime scenes have been taking place on campus for about 15 years now, and this was the biggest turnout they've ever had. The crime scene will be happening this fall, and they used real-life examples of what students could do to get experience in the field, specifically for forensic science majors. The next mock crime scene will be held during the spring semester. That's all for Campus News. Coming up next, Sarah Ditzenberger has your Channel 14 business update. Don't go anywhere.
Will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
With your Channel 14 business update, I'm Sarah Ditzenberger. The media has been awash this week with stories of Paris heroism during the terror attacks. Neighbors welcoming displaced strangers into their homes, the international community lighting up monuments in support. Businesses have also been stepping up in the wake of the attacks. In today's Consumer Watch, Mary Maloney talks about the ways companies are trying to pitch in.
We have some breaking news for you out of Paris.
As Parisians opened their homes to those who had been displaced by the terror attacks in Paris, Airbnb took note. The online vacation rental service set up a page providing urgent Paris accommodation in the days following the attacks. The site waived all service fees to those affected. Several cellular services followed suit. T-Mobile and Verizon both offered free calling and texting from the U.S. to France, and Sprint waived long-distance fees on calls and texts for all Sprint, Boost, and Virgin Mobile customers. Online service Skype made its phone and video calls to France free of charge for an undisclosed amount of time. Google also tweeted that calls to France would be free via its Hangout application. Facebook launched several features. In the immediate aftermath of the attacks, the social media giant activated Safety Check, enabling people in the vicinity to notify friends and family they were okay. It was the first time Safety Check had been activated during a situation other than a natural disaster. Facebook also introduced a function allowing users to overlay a French flag on their profile picture. Other companies made symbolic gestures. Amazon changed the top half of its website to a banner displaying the French flag. Groupon, Reddit, and Apple's French site all incorporated the flag into their logos. And Google posted a black ribbon on its homepage. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
After a 30-year absence from the U.S. market, the Fiat Spider is making a comeback. Fiat unveiled the reborn version of its 124 Spider Wednesday at the Los Angeles Auto Show. The original model had adoring fans, but also a reputation for mechanical troubles. That gave rise to the common joke that Fiat stood for, "Fix it again, Tony." The new Spider shares significant engineering with the Mazda's MX-5 Miata, thanks to a partnership between the automakers. The hope is that the partnership will help the new Spider avoid some of the old model's reliability issues. Amazon announced it will start offering its holiday deals on November 20th, a full week ahead of Black Friday, but the e-commerce giant won't be rolling out all the bargains at once. Instead, new deals will be offered as often as every 5 minutes for 8 days starting Friday. On Thanksgiving, Black Friday shoppers will be able to access 10 additional deals of the day as part of the sale. Amazon is pushing consumers to use its mobile app and Prime service. More than 150 Lightning deals will be available on only mobile, and Prime members will get access to many deals 30 minutes before the general public. Prime costs $99 per year. Daily fantasy sports site FanDuel has stopped taking bets from New York State residents. It comes after New York's Attorney General filed a lawsuit Tuesday to ban FanDuel and rival site DraftKings from the state. The suit argues that daily fantasy sports sites are illegal under New York gambling laws. FanDuel estimates that 10% of its players are from New York. It hopes to reopen to New York players after hearing in the company's countersuit against the Attorney General next week. DraftKings has a hearing the same day, but is still taking bets from New York residents. A lawyer for DraftKings says the effort to shut down daily fantasy sites in New York is unconstitutional. Up next, Matt Cole has your Jackets Sports Report. Stay tuned.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
I'm Matt Cole here with your Channel 14 Sports Report, and we first start with football. The Waynesburg University football team took to the gridiron for the final time in 2015 when it traveled to Washington, PA to take on the rival Washington and Jefferson Presidents. The underdog Yellow Jackets came out of the gates firing as the defense forced a safety, and quarterback Jake Dougherty connected with tight end Kevin Barnes for the first of Barnes' 2 touchdowns on the day to give Waynesburg the early 9-7 lead. But the Presidents would put together the game's next 5 consecutive scoring drives to pull away and to hand the Jackets a 45-23 loss to end their season. Jake Dougherty ended his freshman season going 27 of 41 for 252 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Jackets finished the year with a 3-7 record. Both the men's and women's basketball teams tipped off their season this past week, with the women giving the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse its first basketball action of the year on Tuesday. The Jackets dropped their home opener 60-50 to Penn State Behrend, But senior Heather Davis led the way with 15 points to go along with an impressive 16 rebounds in the effort. Cassidy O'Keefe and Maura Bobby also chipped in with 8 points each. On the men's side, the season began with a tough overtime road loss to Muskegum, 90-83. Seniors DJ Ritchie and BJ Durham had huge games, pouring in 25 and 24 points respectively, while Nate Labishak was the only other man to join the double-digit club with 10. Both teams will resume their season tomorrow when the women take on Case Western in the Purple Raiders shootout, while the men travel to play Calvin College in the Great Lakes Classic. The United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association named Waynesburg cross country star sophomore Julie Gerber as an all-region honoree for NCAA Division III cross country on Monday. Gerber earned NCAA Division III All-Mideast region applause after a stellar season, capped off with a 17th place finish at last weekend's Mideast Regional Championships. She will also be the lone PAC representative for the regional championship race. And the PAC announced its all-conference teams for both men's and women's soccer and football this past week. Victor Brown was named as a second-team All-PAC teamer for the second time in a row, and Carly Murphy also earned second-team honors for the women. In football, 9 members were named to All-PAC teams, highlighted by offensive lineman Nick Sappy, who earned first-team honors. Running back Jerry Lawman was named as a second-teamer, while 7 of his teammates were named as PAC honorable mentions. And finally, congratulations to our Waynesburg Athletes of the Week, sophomore cross-country runner Julie Gerber and senior men's basketball player DJ Ritchie. Gerber became the first man or woman from Waynesburg University to earn a bid to the NCAA Division III National Cross Country Championships by posting the top time of any PAC runner at Saturday's NCAA Division III Mideast Regional Championships. Meanwhile, Ritchie scored a game-high 25 points on 8 of 13 shooting from the floor and 7 of 9 from the free throw line in just 22 minutes of play. Congratulations again to both athletes. I'm Matt Cole, and that's sports. Up next, Ryan Schwertfeger has your 5-day forecast.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Ryan Schwertfeger back here in the Channel 14 Weather Center taking a look at your pre-Thanksgiving holiday forecast. I know many of you are getting those Turkey Day plans together and are either traveling out to see loved ones or traveling out to the store to get those last-minute supplies. So let's take a look at that 5-day forecast as I promised you earlier. Starting on Friday, the temperatures are going to drop about 10 degrees from today, as well as we'll see a high of 47 and a low of 31 with sunny and clear conditions all day. So if you plan to go to Light Up Night that night in Pittsburgh, it'll be a bit chilly, but no rain or snow to worry about, so go out, have fun with your family and friends. On Saturday, we'll start off partly cloudy with a high just shy of 50, but by the afternoon into the evening, we could see a scattered rain or get this, a snow shower. Saturday night, as our low is planned to be below freezing at 27 degrees, so you might have to take out those winter coats now. Sunday and Monday, though, look great with highs both days around 40 degrees and partly cloudy skies to boot, which sounds absolutely wonderful. And then for Tuesday and Wednesday, a slight warm-up with sunny skies that's going to be coming with highs going into the low 50s and a freezing mark for the lows with partly cloudy skies both days. And I know something that everyone's wondering about, what does it look like for Thanksgiving? And so far I can tell you it's going to be about also the same in the low 50s, partly cloudy skies, but there is a slight chance of a rain shower. So you'll have to see, make sure you double check the forecast once we get a little bit closer.
Hey, if it's rain, I'll take it as long as we don't have snow on Thanksgiving. It's too early for that.
Now snow looks like it might be a little bit earlier, but Thanksgiving so far looks just warm enough.
I would say the same thing, April. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Channel 14 News. Have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving.